Yo, it's Guido coming at you with a tactics talk, and we're going to do one more of these. I won't do these all in a row for the next month or so, so you won't be getting one of these every day, but I want to do a couple in a row, kind of give everybody a general idea of what these are going to look like. Eventually I'll have one for every one of the scenarios for each one of the maps that are out. So now we are spawned into the south base, and we're going to YOLO through the Valley of the Noobs, as we discussed yesterday, and the good reasons and bad reasons for going through that, mostly bad reasons. But there's some good stuff on this one as well, and we're going to go through what you should have learned as you do topography mode. Follow the route. As you go through topography mode in, I don't know, what's this mission called? You can't tab. I don't know, whatever it was called. Gorge Attack, I guess. We didn't go over the blurb over there, which is pretty silly. What they're asking you to do is go through the valley. We'll talk about that as we do it. Move across the north and then into town in the old flank maneuver. As we talked about yesterday, rarely does it work this way, but we'll talk about how you go through the Valley of the Noobs. All right, as I go off of that right there, we kind of come off that pretty fast. Be very careful about things like that. If your tank leaves the ground, it's no longer connected to the ground, and it gets sideways at all, you can damage yourself and even destroy yourself if it's a far enough drop. If you keep the tank connected to the ground, generally you're okay, unless it's very steep and you come in at a high angle and smash into something. So we're going to come up here to this firing position, and much like yesterday, what we're going to do is go hold down against these guys. Alright, so two tanks. We're going to isolate one, we're going to take on another one. This guy's on the right. We're also going to decide which one to go after first. I choose the TD because I can cover it up against the heavy tank, and it's easier to come up and take on the TD initially without taking shots from the heavy tank, and I don't have to expose too far. If I was going after the heavy tank, I'd be exposing... If I went after the heavy tank, I'd be exposing myself to the TD and the heavy tank at the same time, because if you notice, I would have had to come all the way up here. So the target that you choose to engage first matters. You're trying to minimize exposure while taking on only one target at a time. Alright, so you don't want to take return shots, and he's having a pretty good time of me right here. So we're going to try to aim at the side of the turret, or the side of the mantlet. So we're getting shots on this guy. Try to get rid of him as fast as possible. Notice his little laser doesn't have a shot on me until I choose to give him one, because I'm coming after him. Now, this map's been changed a little bit. This other position over here is pretty decent hold down wise. We talked a little bit about gun depression at the end of yesterday, but you could see that I was having a pretty easy time of it. This tank has pretty good gun depression. I don't know if it's -10, it might be -8. Marshy ground, once again, we're going to go through here and we're going to push in. Now, what you should also learn here is, I'm just going to turn that guy down. What you should also learn here is what you're going to find if you beat them in the valley on this. You're going to find their defenders, and very often you're going to be hold down there, potentially, which we don't have any today, or they're going to be sitting on this corner. So this corner has a little bit of cover. There's some bushes, there's some raised ground right here to go hold down and just poke your turret out. There's also positions back by those buildings where they can shoot you once you come around the corner. And what we're going to find is a heavy tank right here. So what we want to do with this is, we can't really see him and it's hard to get a highlight on him. What we don't want to do is auto aim. Let me just show you what auto aim does. I'm auto aiming him, and he is now centroid. All right, my auto aim is right at the center of his tank. I can't get a shot. I'm actually hitting the ground with the auto aim. I see this mistake all the time. Then people feel like they have to come really high to get the shot. What I really want to do is zoom in, and I'm going to put my pipper at the top of this terrain, and I want to find out where I have to go to see his turret right there. All right, so minimize. There's a bounce. Rocking back and forth is going to make it hard for him to hit. Even the AI is going to have a little trouble with that, getting right where they want to be. Put another shot on him there. See, I just keep that highlighted, and now I'm just waiting for my shot, and I take that guy down. All right. Pushing from here, be very careful. Like I said, you may find some campers sitting back here in these bushes all along this area. There's actually, if I can knock this thing down here, there's a bush There's a bush right there that guys will bush up and hide behind. Also, as you push in, now mostly what you're going to find is people are going to try to cap. So they'll get on the cap. You don't have the cap thing going on because of this mode. Dead tanks are fantastic, by the way. Another thing you should learn here is you can protect yourself from enemy fire by using dead tanks. So they're going to have a hard time hitting you right here. Great way to do it. Also then, the other defensive point is going to be over here around this corner. Guys in the middle kind of hiding out right there waiting to start popping you, especially if you just drive onto cap and start trying to cap. I like that they put this next point right here because it seems to indicate what they're talking about is your approach line is going to be along through these bushes right here, which is not a bad idea, this back line. You don't want to be zinging through this open area over here, pushing right down into the town, because anybody hanging out in the middle and the bottom of the town is going to shred you out in the open. Notice this is low ground right here. So I'm protected to some extent, and I can use some of these bushes for cover, and it's going to tell me to go up to this point. All right, from this point, another interesting thing happens. We get a multi-bogey environment, and so we've got a light tank, and we've got this heavy tank. Now I'm going to cover up against the light tank. I'm not going to give him any shots by using this rock, and then I'm going to go ahead and side scrape against the heavy tank down there. All right, so now he can see me. He's got a pretty good shot on me right here, actually. We get 96. If I rock back a little bit, I'm really exposing as little as possible. Now he's got the laser on me. I can tell he's actually looking at me. Screen not penetrated, by the way, was probably his mantlet or some kind of spaced armor. That's what that means. It means your shell did not go through the spaced armor, and we'll take him down. So now that I've taken care of him, I've isolated the light tank, multi-bogey environment. I use the cover that I have. Now I can start dealing with him. The next thing I wanted to cover for this map is, and unfortunately this mode does not do this at all, that light tank, if I count to about 12 to 14, around 10 seconds, but with some slop, he should go dark, right? He should go away. The only reason he would be lit is I had another guy on the team somewhere spotting him currently, and I should be unlit. Now clearly that doesn't happen in this mode because he's looking, I'm searching for me with his turret. He knows I'm here, and the second I poke out, he's going to get a shot right there. Okay, so if he was lit right now, then I know one of my guys is lighting him for us. Okay, I might be lighting him, but unlikely because I'm looking straight through a rock right here. All right, if I pop out, if he goes dark and I pop out and he shoots me, I'm lit by something, and probably not him. And that's SA that maybe there's somebody else nearby. More than likely, I'm going to start taking shots if that happens. But so we'll just come out here. I just wanted to talk a little bit about that spotting system then, and we'll kill him. Okay. The next thing it wants me to do is drive straight across the open down into the town. I choose life. I'm going to come in. My approach is going to be with a little bit more cover up here, up high or up along the red line, and then maybe we can push into town potentially right there. So we'll just go this way. This is going to minimize my exposure to guys in the middle or guys hanging out in the bottom of the town. You could even go all the way across the road right there. Okay, another thing you should learn here is some of these buildings are destructible. Boom. Okay, I can go through that building. That one is not destructible. I cannot go through it. Generally, the destructible buildings look destructible. Like, they don't look well made like that one. This one right here, this is just a wooden building. And then there's another shed-like building right there. We just knocked that down. That's important because that's cover that is usable while it's there, or you can knock it down if need be. Shots generally don't go through that into other tanks. They're too thick, but it will knock that building down. And then you might have a shot afterwards. Okay, another thing to think about in that case is to not knock down those buildings if you're using them as cover. And it can be a bit tricky because you can accidentally tap it and you'll knock it down. All of a sudden you're uncovered and people start shooting you. So we're going to side scrape right here, make it hard for that guy to get a good shot. He's given us side like a Muppet, and now we're going to move in. This is not bad here. There will be 2 more videos where they fight in the town. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. Going to this church right here is not a bad idea. Realize that there are firing lanes from the middle along here. People tend to get shredded sometimes if the middle isn't covered by the guys camping there. But coming up here and turning this corner, you'll often find guys about where you're starting to see them now. Now realize this is weird because we started in the south and went all the way north and came around. This is more what you would see as a heavy going into town from the north spawn. which a little bit convoluted. So we're kind of mixing apples and oranges here, but we're going to side scrape out here from this church, and we'll just start popping this guy. He's not even looking at us. See his turret turn around? That's something that you need to learn as well. He wasn't even looking, so that first pop out was beautiful. He had no idea it was there. Well, his buddy knows now because I got spotted by him. So now his buddy has turned his turret, and we'll just do the little side scraperino right here and start taking this dude down. Just a little bit of exposure. Unfortunately, armor not penetrated. That probably hit his turret, it looks like. We'll go a little lower into the hole. He's firing some HE at me, and we'll go ahead and drop that guy right there. And that's the end of that. Second one, what you should have learned from Lakeville, Laketown, Lakeville. What is this place? I don't know. Himmel's Lake. What you should have learned from the second scenario on Lakeville. Once again, let me know what you think down below, if it's worth it, and we'll keep on trucking. So that's 2 of those down. Scenario 2 armored tank, south spawn, through the north spawn, around into the city, making it look like you're actually spawned to the north, pushing into the city. We'll work with what we got, my friends. We'll work with what we got. That is all I've got for today. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you.